Thanks, man.
Shout out to Amazon. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Subtic Club. Today we're here with David.
How's it going, guys?
This is actually the second shoot because my first time recording, we lost audio. So thank you so much for making your time again.
You're welcome.
And I don't mind coming second time because these cars are beautiful.
Oh, appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
So yeah, before we get into the cars, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, guys. My name is David Janssens. I came from Indonesia back in 2006, and I'm a citizen now here in the United States. Came here as a student, then worked my way up, working as a web developer full-time, and now I'm also working as a mechanic, basically my side hustle, which I really enjoy to do because my passion has always been about cars, working on cars, making things better.
Yes, we see that. You mentioned Indonesia. So tell me a little bit about growing up in Indonesia. Is the car, I know car scene over there is pretty crazy too. What was it like for you?
Well, back in the days when I still, before I left my home country, and it's basically a lot of dress-up modifications and audio stuff.
Right.
Back in the days, like around circa 2003, 2004, while I was still in high school, that's when I first got into cars seriously.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, back then there was no racing scene or whatsoever. I mean, there are some guys who like to street race, but I'm just not that part of the crowd. No. So it's more like working on cars, fixing things here and there, putting some bolt-on mods, body kits, and the road condition there is not the best. I grew up in Jakarta. I'm from Jakarta, which is the capital city of Indonesia. And the roads have so many potholes because it would always flood every year. So even on the nicer areas, it's really not lowered car friendly, especially when you're running like big wheels with low profile tires. So everything needs to be put into consideration of your body kit and your ride height and all that stuff. But it's a fun learning experience. I get to play around with cars. I started in the Honda scene. I used to drive this Honda Stream. I mean, we don't have it here in the US. It's basically a JDM market car. It's like an oversized EP3. And I really enjoyed that car, and it taught me a lot of stuff.
So when you first came to the US, what was your first car?
My first car was 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. It's a 6-speed 2ZZ GE engine. Bought it bone stock while I first studied here in the States. I resided in St. Louis, Missouri for a whole year back in 2006. And I had to travel all the way up to Chicago just to get the Celica spec that I wanted. Because I really love that car because since before I came here, there's an auto show where I first saw the 7th Gen Celica. When I first looked at the body style, I was just sold. And it's instantly my dream car. Back in the days. Because to own a Celica back in Indonesia, it's like having a Lamborghini basically. Right. Because you pay about 3 times the cost over here.
The tax is
exactly
crazy.
It's called completely built up tax CBU. So
okay. So after obviously you don't have the Corolla anymore. How did you end up in a Lexus?
Well, the RCF. Well, long story short, I wasn't coming from a well-off, like very privileged family with tons of money. So I had to work everything myself. Back in 2008, my family went through some hardship, and while I was studying here in the States, and the international student cost here is just way more than the local. We pay
almost
about
double,
three times the tuition.
Wow.
So long story short, I had to end up selling that car, partied it out, and then get a cheaper car. And that's how I end up with the SC.
I see.
So around October to 2010, I end up with the SC. I still miss my Celica to this day, but I can always get another one and build it. It's kind of like a bittersweet because I do love this car a lot, and I think it's kind of a good thing that it happened because I end up enjoying this car even more, and I built it even more than the Celica.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So then you started going to the track with the SC?
Actually, with the RCF.
Okay.
The SC, I tried to bring it up to a performance car like for the track. Currently, it has a 1JZ VVTi swap. Got it done back in 2011 with R154 5-speed. But seeing my friends with about the same cars, with about the same build, with the 1JZ or 2JZ, seeing them always coming across like some heat issues here and there, just because, you know, it's an old chassis.
Yeah.
It's a 90s car. Makes me think that I probably should get not really a better car, but a car that is more built for the performance. And that's why I solely intended this car just for street uses and daily commutes. And that's why I'm tracking mainly the RCF.
Got it. So how long have you been driving on track now?
So I started performance driving back in 2019. A good friend of mine, Brian Liciano, always pushed me before then to, let's go to the track, man. I know you have the potential, because we would always go to like Lexus driving tour, you know, test drive their cars, some autocross events, and he saw my potential. And of course, I've always been a huge sim racing enthusiast. I love Gran Turismo since day one, even though I started with controller. You know, you learn basic racing line, braking points, you know, weight transfer. And then moving on to like a steering wheel setup, even though it's not a fancy rig that I have, it still taught me how to, you know, go from using the whole track and so on and so forth. So from that point on, I just pushed myself to go to Streets of Willow. That's my very first track here. And I have a great time with it, especially with this car. I mean, it's just built for it. I mean, it's not the most track capable car, because due to its weight, curb weight, and lacking a front camber, but it's all taken care of now. But yeah, I still have a good seat time from that point on. Lap after lap, it never, you know, like increase in temperature. Everything is still stable. So from that point on, it's just a lot of seat time for me.
Good.
And, you know, it gives me a lot of advantage.
Good. Do you have a dream car?
Yes, I do. My dream car would be the Lexus LFA. Such an amazing machine. I had the privilege of driving one at Angeles Crest Highway. It was a good friend of mine, Phil. He has this LFA number 475, I believe. And it was a white one. And it was such an amazing machine. The mechanical grip to it is just insane. When you feel the steering wheel, you feel that slight heaviness, but that heaviness comes with that mechanical grip. So you know, as soon as you grab the steering wheel, you know that that car will grip and just stay down with the active wing on the back. And most importantly, it's the sound, the V10. The sound is just amazing.
I know they spent a lot of time tuning that sound.
For sure.
So,
Yamaha makes the best engine, in my opinion. Also with the engine noise. Yes. Sorry about that.
Say hello to YouTube.
Thanks, man.
Shout out to Amazon. So you mentioned Yamaha, and we talked about this last time, but a lot of people don't know that a lot of performance cars of Toyota Lexuses, their head is built by Yamaha. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And it seems like you already have two of their engines built by Yamaha. You're missing the 4AG,
right?
And
Beams 3S GT,
Beams, and then the LFA, right?
Right.
So I hope you get all of them.
Yep.
And 2ZZ too, right?
2ZZ is also Yamaha.
So you've owned it, but then you don't.
Right.
I mean,
and
you
the
sold it,
famous
but
2JZ GT.
2JZ, I'm not too sure if 2JZ was Yamaha too.
Right,
I think 1JZ
I would
was.
say you're right.
Yeah.
I think the 1J is Yamaha.
So I have the sucky 2JZ.
No.
You have the nice 1JZ.
That's not true. We know 2JZ is more capable tuning wise. So,
do you have a favorite track, and what's the reason for it?
Yes. Up until last year, my favorite track was Buttonwillow. and it still is my favorite track because, you know, as we all know, it's the holy grail of timeattack. But recently I went to Sonoma Raceway.
Oh yeah.
And I was instantly like, that's my favorite track now, just because there's just more danger factor to it, lots
Walls.
of elevation change, walls, and just to put into perspective, my Button Willow track days, probably little to no cars get into an accident for that track. But there's one time where I went to Sonoma, there's like 8 cars got totaled. That just shows you like you have to respect that track, which I really like. You know, like that danger factor again, also the technical aspects to it. It pushes you even more technically as a better driver.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Just one message to the viewers that maybe, you know, seeking thrill, you know, doing donuts on the street, you know, that kind of stuff. If you are that type of guy, go to Sonoma and have fun. Keep it safe for people around you.
And there's also a bunch of other tracks that you can go to.
Definitely. Keep it at the track. Yeah, David. What are we looking at?
So this is my 2015 Nebula Gray Pearl RCF.
Okay.
I got it back in January 2019, so it hasn't been with me that long, but I do drive it a lot. I've put about 40,000 miles so far, and most of them are just daily commute to work before all the track days, and also going to the track and back, because as we know, they can be quite far on some of them. Like Laguna Seca alone is like a good 500, 600 miles just for one way. And it's been a great car, basic maintenance, oil change, transmission fluid change, differential fluid change, you know, all of that maintenance, brake fluid. Basically try to keep it up to par before and after every track days, just because, you know, it's a multi-purpose car, very reliable. This is why I end up with this car is because of number one is the reliability aspect. So
let's start with the chassis.
For sure.
What coilovers you have?
Sure thing. So this chassis is called the USC10 RCF, and the coilovers that I have is CKS coilovers. They're just one-way adjustable coilovers that I first got when I first started tracking. I first end up with Swiss springs, so I did go to Button Willow, Streets of Willow, even Laguna Seca with just a lowering springs, and I was able to clock like a 2-flat on Button Willow.
Oh, nice.
And the coilovers has just changed the game. It reduced the car roll, and now I'm running CKS coilovers with Swiss springs, 16 kilo and 12 kilo on the back.
16 and 12.
16 and 12 spring rates.
And these are double wishbone suspension, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. The brakes are RB Performance. They're 2-piece rotors. It does help the car with its stopping power as well as reducing the weight versus the OEM Brembo rotors. And the RCF or GSF or any of the F cars come with Brembo brakes standard with 6-pot front and then the 4-pot brakes rear. And 380 millimeter front rotors.
And what kind of pads?
Currently, I'm running EBC blue pads on the front, and then Project Mu club racers on the back. Ideally, I would like to run a full set of, you know, the same brand, Aggressive, which is like Project Mu. But currently, like JDM stuff, it's very hard to get. A lot of wait time. So I have to make do like with, you know, like more of a local available products. The car is equipped with full Varis kit. It's a Varis Magnum Opus authentic kit from Japan. It's got some carbon fiber fender ducts, Sabon vented carbon fiber hood, and rocking the ref dop intake scoops for left and right radiator cooler, transmission cooler and the engine oil cooler, as well as the ref dop canards, which is specifically made for the RCF.
Are the coolers stock or is that?
They are stock.
So they come with the transmission cooler.
Correct. So transmission on one side and engine oil cooler on the other. It's a standard feature for RCF and GSF.
I see. Nice.
So the car is running fixed engineering control arm, upper control arm,
Okay.
which allows a camber adjustment on these F cars. Because the biggest weak link of these F cars is the sheer weight. They're pushing about 4,000 pounds, as well as having no front camber. Hence, they tend to understeer at the track. I mean, that's just how Lexus tailor their cars to customers. They tend to be a little bit more milder compared to like BMWs.
Yeah.
But it's stuff that you can modify yourself and change it to your own liking. So the car's currently running on the upper arms, front arms, and rear camber arms. They're dialed to about negative 3.5 and negative 3.2
I see.
on the rear, and it's running fixed bushing. It's a solid track bushing,
Okay.
as well as what do you call it? Suspension wise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I also have some under braces, such as the Tom's front, mid, and the trunk brace, as well as the Cusco 4-point brace up front.
Nice.
And which I will show you later in the engine bay. I also have an RR Racing 8-point strut bar, and a bunch of cooling goodies like for efficiency wise, such as the AOS, air oil separator.
The wheels and tires, I assume these are street tires?
Right. They're actually 100 treadwear rated tire.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yes. So this is my current sponsor right now, my current and only sponsor, which is Zestino Tires. So it's currently running their Gretsch 07 RS, which is their 100 treadwear.
Okay.
And it's 285 all around, because I'm running a square setup with this Advent GT Premium, which is 18 by 10, 35 offset.
Okay.
I just find it's a perfect spec that clears the BBK for RCF, as well as it gives you that good rotatability versus my previous staggered setup.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this is my latest wheel addition.
Okay.
And I'm trying to set new PBs with this new setup. So far, I've only gone to Streets of Willow with this new setup. And yeah, I can't wait to, set some new records with these setup.
I'm new to this tire. Would you mind comparing it to any other
Sure
tires?
thing, definitely. So these tires, they're very comparable to, I would say, an RE71R.
Okay.
However, I still find that RE71 is still has the ultimate better grip and more consistency overall. But for the price point of these tires, that's what appeals me the most.
Yeah.
I literally don't have to break my bank, every 3-4 track days to change the tires, because these are not the lightest cars. So consumables do end up wearing faster compared to like a Miata or S2K.
For sure.
Tires and brake pads, usually they go out first, especially the front brake pads.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great tire for all around. I mean, I also daily drive it, even in the rain, such as like yesterday or 2 days ago. It still grips nicely. So it's been a great tire all around.
Crazy.
I've rocked a couple tires, such as RE71R. It's still my all-time favorite tire. I mean, if I could get that tire again, I definitely would. And I'm very interested in trying the RE71RS. I heard those are like super great.
Yeah.
And I love the Falcon RT660 as well. It has a great price point.
Yeah.
Very good 200 treadwear. And I also I have an experience as well with two sets of my R888s.
Okay.
Even though they're great tires, but they're just, I don't think they're built for the car, because they do get greasy over time, and then they do get inconsistent. So all around, I love the Zestinos and the Potenzas.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Let's continue on the exterior.
Sure thing.
What kind of wing is that? It's
So
nice
this is a
wing.
Voltex Type 2 rear wing.
It's a Voltex?
Yes.
Oh.
It is a low drag style wing, meaning that it doesn't really give you that much downforce because it's rated as a street wing. And as you can tell, the design doesn't really utilize an end cap, and it's quite shorter than the roof line.
Yeah.
Which I like, because the first moment I saw this wing online, I told myself that I need to get it. I feel like it's just made perfectly for the RCF
It's very subtle.
body shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the way it flares down on this part. it just reminds me of that stealth fighter look.
Yeah.
So I really like it. And yeah, I mean, it's rocking a full titanium exhaust.
Yeah, tell me about those.
Which I currently installed. This is my latest modification to the car. And this would be like, I would say this would improve my driving and lap time significantly, just because the amount of weight savings that I got over my previous art exhaust.
Share those numbers.
For sure. The weight is rated at 16.5 kilograms, which is about 33.6 or 7 pounds, versus my previous exhaust, which can be like easily like 40 to 45 pounds heavier. Just because the previous exhaust utilized a stainless steel material and the Helmholtz technology, which have an extra chamber of resonator, which definitely adds the weight to the car.
For sure.
And as you can tell, my rear bumper piece has been melted before because of the previous exhaust just swaying around left and right, because they're just very heavy with a lot of unsprung weight. Yeah. So this is the Varis Magnum Opus rear diffuser. It's literally the rarest and the most expensive part of the car, I would say. I mean, this rear diffuser alone, brand new MSRP, is about $3,500, and
wow,
and it's like a long time to, a long way from Japan, as you can tell.
Cool.
Yeah, it's basically.
Well, I see us up to
yeah, for sure.
X SoCal Driver Club.
Yeah,
sticker.
representing.
What lap time have you ran with this thing?
So my personal best at Buttonwillow CW13 is 157.
Oh.
I'm trying to set a new record, probably like 155, 156, and hopefully be in the sub 155 one day.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be the goal.
Okay.
When I first started with this car, definitely I didn't think about going like full-fledged race car, like turning it into a full-fledged race car. I mean, it still isn't, because of course I still daily it, it's still registered, and I'm trying to still keep the balance between daily drivable and then convert it to like a timeattack car.
For sure.
Before the track day or in the preparation of the track day.
Yeah.
So literally like after track day, I would have to put all the interior back, all the speakers back. But since I've done it so many times, I'm so used to it, so I could just convert it pretty quick.
What kind of horsepower do these cars make?
So the stock horsepower is 467, 467 horsepower with 389 foot-pounds of torque. It has an 8-speed ZF transmission. And the shift is pretty instant if you go on the Sports Plus mode and just fully wide open throttle the car. The great thing about this transmission is that if you just decide to drive it on eco mode, it shifts smooth as butter. It doesn't give you that jerky feeling like maybe like a PDK or dual clutch cars. Yeah, that's why I really love this car, because of its dual personality. Like you can go Sports Plus mode for the direct injection, and then eco mode for like Atkinson cycle port injection. That way it saves you gas.
Oh, does it have Atkinson cycle?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
So it does clean the chamber nicely if you put it on the eco mode, and you can daily the car. So you don't have to like 24/7 spending so much gas just to commute and sitting on the traffic.
What's the best MPG you've gotten?
When I took it to Laguna Seca for a track day there, sure, I was like trailing behind my friend's car, so I'm kind of technically drafting his trailer. So I did get about 29 MPG.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, with the wing and everything, with 100 tread wear, with like full wheels inside the car, because I do transport all of my stuff inside the car, because I don't have a trailer. I simply just don't have the space for it for now.
Right.
I mean, of course, this is not going to be my final home. I will have like, hopefully one day, a bigger garage with driveways where I can store my toys and collect more cars.
More Toyotas.
Exactly. Cool. But yeah, I always bring all of my track day amenities, such as like 2 full cans of gas cans, and then 4 wheels and tires inside the car. Good thing that they all fit, just because I don't have a passenger seat currently, so that yeah, it's great that I could bring all of the stuff and my tools and even sometimes my compressor if I need to be. It depends on the track. Sometimes some tracks they don't have that much like power outlets.
That's
So
true.
you have to work with what you have.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's see the engine.
Sure thing.
Ooh.
So here's my engine bay. It's pretty stock other than some gold wrapping just for thermal efficiency purposes.
Some colors.
Correct. Yeah, I took off the engine cover, which I think helps with cooling better. So the first mod that I installed, one of them is like this AOS, which is air oil separator from RR Racing.
Okay.
It's proven to be quite useful every track day. And I noticed that it would get full on every session, not just
really?
per track day, but every session I would have to empty it. So it just gives you an idea how much of a blow-by that this car has by swaying around left and right and full throttle. And this is also equipped with a, I would say, they call it a
Brace?
4-point, but they also call it an 8-point because of these wells.
Okay.
Yes, it's made by RR Racing. It's a chassis brace, which definitely greatly help improve the structural integrity and rigidity of the car. Yeah, I also have this intake cooler, meaning it's just a shield that, to prevent the hot air from the engine bay, and it helps extract cool air coming to the passenger side fender. And it's pretty basic. It's still running a stock intake, just a Lam's intake elbow, which is made in titanium, which has better thermal efficiency, and some lightweight battery from anti-gravity battery. And yeah,
Nice
basically,
color too.
thank you. Yes, if you go at first, the first prototype doesn't have that gold intake heat shield, which doesn't help with thermal efficiency. But now that it has the shield, it prevents the battery from dying like in a hot track day.
Got it.
So yeah, the car is still running on stock ECU. I do plan on upgrading it in the future, probably run some headers maybe in the future, and then have it tuned, perhaps go full E85 just to bring out some more power of the car, because the car does definitely need a little more power,
Yeah, it's a
especially
heavy
in
car.
torque,
Yeah.
torque area.
Are there people that are making like crazy amount? I mean, obviously with forced induction,
Yes,
sky's the limit.
definitely.
But with the OE setup, what's like the upper limit?
Since this is an NA car, I mean, as we all know, like the gains is not as much as like Booster's car. Like the new BMWs and the new Supras, they make so much horsepower just by downpipe and the tune.
Yeah.
So for our engines, we have to literally like pay a lot of money just to get a couple horsepower.
For sure.
But it's the sound and the response of NA and the
Yeah.
reliability that's what appeals me the most. Mostly I've seen people go with headers and the tune. They do gain about 30 to 40 horsepower, making them in the
Wow.
500 crank range.
Wow.
So probably like about 460 to the wheels.
That's
And
decent.
it's very decent, especially given the car weight after you got it out. The car just becomes more alive.
What do these engines redline at?
These engines redline at 7100.
71. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And definitely need that torque upgrade in the future so that way I can keep up with the higher powered cars such as the new Supras in a GT class that I'm trying to participate in, or maybe one day will be an unlimited class. Yeah, the car does have like a good corner exit, but it's just not as much as the newer technology cars.
Right. Okay. Let's see the inside.
Sure thing. So here's the interior. There's not much to it. I recently did a little bit more gutting because I'm participating in a timeattack series next week at Bunwillow. It's called TRD series, hosted my good friend Jarrell, and I'm rocking the old school Zeta 3 because this is my favorite style of Zeta.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of the 4 just because they have such a big buckle holes, but it's just a preference, and I love their old school gradation finish with some bright rails. Still rocking my OEM wheel, everything is pretty much OEM.
Okay.
The car is a Mark Levinson car, meaning it
the
comes with
speakers.
it has so many speakers, like about 18 of them. It's ridiculous. This is probably the only car you see going around the track with
18 speakers.
full AC, 18 speakers, and all that soft touch material, which doesn't help with your lap time. That's why I've been trying to slowly like find, stuff that I can remove easily and, put back on every and after track day. So it's been great, and love the sound system. And recently I got this newest edition, which is from an RCF Fuji edition.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Is that?
It's a real carbon brace. Yes, that is factory. Let me just show you from the back because it shows better. So
I've got it inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the latest addition to the car, which is the OEM brace from Fuji Speedway Edition RCF. Fuji Speedway Edition RCF, it's this limited production RCF. Only 50 made.
15?
Only 50
okay,
50 units made, and they're basically the highest end of RCF in a stock form, coming from, Lexus directly. And it's rocking carbon ceramic brakes, titanium exhaust already.
Yeah.
So, and then all of these carbon goodies. That's why they have like better gear ratio, and yeah, basically trying to utilize as much technology as I can put onto this car. And I also have this Tom's trunk brace, which does help with the rigidity of the back end of the car. And it's just some of my exhaust valve controller shown here in the trunk. And these are all like very, what do you call it? It's a very track focused setup currently.
Okay.
But after track day, everything will be like back to OEM.
I see.
With the side carpet on, the trunk carpet on, all of my, like all the spare tire stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the back seats will be on, put back on.
Cool.
So yeah, the main focus of this car is literally weight reduction and some suspension tuning before I actually add more power to it.
Gotcha.
And the goal is just to keep it as close to OEM power-wise. That way I can enjoy the car as much as I can without having to worry about cooling issues, because it is already excellent from the factory.
Yeah. I see some signatures over there.
Sure thing.
Whose signatures are
Yes,
those?
so let's go on to the other side. These are the signatures of the Lexus F driver, the person who founded the F program, who lead the F program, which is Scott Pruitt.
Okay.
And this is his signature. And the other two signatures are from the current RCF GT3 drivers.
Oh, wow.
They're racing at IMSA, so Lexus Racing,
Yeah.
always representing you. Always big fan of Lexus Racing, and always thankful for their hospitality, for inviting me every time to their big events, such as the Grand Prix. And sometimes we have like a get-together with a bunch of F cars, which I also help with organizing the meet, such as the Pursuit back last year in El Monte. So yeah, I mean, very, very, very thankful for the opportunity to be involved with Lexus Racing as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, so these are Aaron Thielitz, car number 14, as well as Jack Hawksworth, the pro driver of RCF GT3.
Nice.
So you can see their car decal on my rear windshield here, and just to know how the RCF GT3 looks like. So that is the team. It's
sorry. What engines do those cars run?
The engine is still 2UR V8.
Okay.
It is upstroke, and it has a center intake.
Okay.
So I believe it's at some point I did read that it's stroked up to 5.7.
Okay.
But with my recent talk with Aaron Thielitz, which is one of the drivers, he actually mentioned it's still a 5.0.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting,
Yeah.
not to say the least, because having the same engine as the race cars sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even though the RCF GT3 comes with, of course, like more of a suspension mod, such as what do you call it? They're rocking the Paget brakes, very race car oriented.
Yeah.
And the AP racing brakes. One of the stuff that I would like to follow suit later on, once I get really serious with this car. Having some of these race car parts would be very amazing, I would say.
For sure. And this car David, what year is this?
It's a 92.
92. And has a Vertex body kit all the way around?
Yes, Volk Racing GTC, just to make it look like period
Yeah.
correct. I always swap it with either of my 6 sets of wheels. But I find that this is the most period correct, so
Yes.
I'll rock it for now. It has an RCF big brake kit conversion,
Oh,
which
does
is
it?
actually from this car.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that thing
It's
is
a
like
6-pot, 380 millimeter rotor kit.
barely fits, huh?
Barely fits. As you can see, the clearance there from the caliper too. The wheel spokes is pretty tight.
Yeah.
But I made it work.
Just custom brackets, I guess?
Custom. The fronts actually bolt on right away.
They
It's the
bolt on?
rear, yes, the
Really?
rears that are have the custom brackets.
Oh, so you have the rears on there too?
Yes,
Okay.
it's full RCF setup.
Wow.
Front and rear, 6-pot and 4-pot rear.
Wow. And how's the brake balance?
Oh, it's great. I feel like it's intended for the car.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
because SC is not also the lightest car,
Yeah,
even
this
though
thing
they
is
are
heavy.
lighter than
Yeah.
the RCF, and this just makes it even better.
Oh, cool. And how did you get this?
A friend of mine, he just gave it to me. I think
That's
it's like
cool.
a souvenir from Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if it's exactly accurate when it comes to the dates and stuff.
Well, who
but
cares?
It's just
It looks cool. Looks
I'm a big fan of JDM cars, as you can tell.
yes.
Everything is inspired by it.
Can we see the engine of
Yeah,
this
for
car?
sure, definitely.
Nice. Very clean swap.
Thank you.
BBTI, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Once I have more time and more funds, I will definitely bring this car up to even a better level. Maybe some bigger turbo, that's for sure. Custom ECU, and try to push like around 450 to the wheels.
What does it make now?
It's still stock. Everything is stock. Stock ECU, stock CT15B turbo, stock manifold. The only difference is front mount intercooler, Tomei turbo elbow, a 3-inch Blitz exhaust.
Okay.
It's making about, I would say, stock power 280, maybe
Okay.
300 horsepower at most.
Gotcha.
I would say.
Are you gonna track this thing too?
Eventually, I would love to.
Yeah.
Just because it's 5-speed manual.
Right.
So, there's just more joy in rowing gears, even though they're not as fast as nowadays transmission. But, always good to have like multiple cars to get your sight
backup
seat
car,
time in.
right?
Of course, yeah.
Maybe this can be your sub 2 car and sub 50 car, right?
That's the goal. That would be cool. Or maybe this could be a drift car.
Yeah,
Always
could be,
been a
yeah.
big fan of drifting
Oh, yeah,
too.
there we go.
So, would love to get into drifting, that's for sure.
I used to have one of these too.
Right.
And they have a really long wheelbase, right? So they make it like, they make a great drift car,
Yes,
I feel.
the momentum for drifting is
Yes,
just
yes.
wonderful.
It's very steady, yeah. And they have one of the best sounding, inline-six,
Yep.
in my opinion. So
Exactly.
yeah, I like how you did 1JZ on it. Cool. You mind showing us a little bit of the garage?
Yeah, for sure. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I see you won a lot of stuff
Yeah,
here.
so we just finished the second year, the 2022 season for TRD series.
Okay.
And as you can see, I managed to took home first place again this year.
Champion. He's not messing around.
Yeah, so 7 races per season. It's managed by a good friend of mine, Jarrell.
Okay.
With the Supra, and yeah, I really enjoy his events, and we're basically like a good friends and family now, consisting of a bunch of Toyota car, Lexus cars,
Yeah.
Supra, A90, even the A80 sometimes. There's some OG A86, which is super
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
A couple F cars like ISF, RCF, GSF.
Cool.
But this year has always been about either Supra or the F cars
Right,
when
right.
it comes to,
Yeah.
touring class and grand touring class.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unlimited class is still ruled by the Supras.
I see a lot of wheels on here. What's going
It's
on?
about 6 sets.
You just like wheels, huh?
I just love wheels.
Okay.
To me, I think I'm always obsessed with JDM wheels, especially like TE and CE. They're like a must-have for me. But of course, you can't skip Advan Racing, Yokohama. So Advan GT is always there. And the RSDF, which is also on this car. And of course, some SSR wheels.
Yeah,
that
gotta
I
have
have over there, the silver wheel over there. I mean, to me, they're just a great way to refresh the look of your car if you ever get bored with it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way. But mainly I got that many because, I like to run multiple sets of tires, different sets of compounds, some 200 tread wear, some 100 tread wear. And, just to experiment with them and different sizes too, some of.
The first question is, what does sub 2 mean to you?
Sub 2, to me, it means the starting point of something more serious. As a driver, sure, it's quite an achievement to a lot of people, but then also it depends on the car setup. We can't really say that a Honda Fit can just go sub 2 even with a good driver, even with quite a proper setup, just because of the power wise and stuff. But it is like a starting point of, like I said, something more serious, and that means that you're already doing something right by going to the manner of driving properly, using the whole width of the track, the weight transfer, braking point, all that technique. Also, it comes with maintaining the car, bringing the car up to good condition. So sub 2 means that welcome to I would say the more serious territory, and it's up to the driver whether you want to improve from that point on, or you're happy and settled with it. Yeah, for me, it's literally just barely scratching the surface.
For sure. And what things about life do you learn through the cars?
It's definitely, it teaches you to be passionate and patient. Like nothing is achieved overnight. You have to constantly prove yourself that you can build a car that will do good, and will last on the track. And even though if you daily drive it as well, which I do on these two cars, they are my daily drivers. It really is tied together with passion. If you don't have the passion in cars, you're not going to go far. And by working on your car or personally, or it doesn't have to be like a complex job, or starting with a simple maintenance like oil change, that will teach you more to love about that car and appreciate the engineering that goes into it.
Okay, so in a way, you have to love the life around you to be successful in life.
Basically,
and then
it teaches you to be more patient too.
Yes, definitely. All right, I think that's all the questions I have for you. For the viewers that are interested in RCF, if you own an RCF, if you want to track it, follow David and follow his journey in the future. Thank you thank you again, and thank you. It's the second time, thank you, and we'll see you at the next one.